Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. TK joining us today. Big sale going on over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. We'll tell you about over there near Parkview Baptist in Baton Rouge. I'm from an undisclosed location, presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, all weekend long, they'll be rocking and rolling. You get to the window over at LeBear's Casino and bet in their sports book. No LSU this week, so you got to go get your fix with all the other games. A lot of good ones. Big topics, of course, the World Series starts tonight. The Michigan story keeps getting underway. NBA is rolling. The Pelicans 1-0. They play at home tomorrow night. They play Saturday night against the Knicks, Monday night against the Golden State Warriors. Tommy, let's talk Michigan for a second. Let's go there. This story is bizarre. Everybody's weighing in across college football. It looks to me like, Harbaugh got a suspension earlier this year, missed the first 3 games for, tampering and recruiting. This one, I think, is going to probably get him even longer suspension just because, once you're a first-time offender, usually they slap you a little harder the next time, and it's just right on the heels of that, where one of his staffers, of course, he's claiming he doesn't know anything, which is BS, right? But it's proven it's looking now that like this has been going on a while. This is going on in numerous stadiums. Michigan didn't really try to hide it, quite frankly, from the the video recorders and some reports are that he's wearing Michigan gear in the stands and all this kind of stuff. I want to get to it's a rule. You can't travel staffers to another ballpark, another stadium. You can't whip out a camera. You can't record the signals. But to me, it's a silly rule, right? I mean, for you and I are baseball guys, for 150 years, guys have been disguising signals, changing signals as pitchers and guys in the dugout, coaches in the dugout. You have multiple different kinds of sets of signals. Nope. Everybody tries to crack signals in baseball, and it's kind of looked at as a badge of honor if you're able to do it. But somehow football, it's this giant no-no that, oh, my God, you're the devil. I mean, they're acting like this is they paid a guy $1 million to come play quarterback, which is okay to do, but we can't send a down-the-line assistant to go sit in the stands bundled up with a scarf trying to steal signals. It's weird to me.
Well, that rule went in 1994, so that's damn near 30 years ago. Okay, that's before we have the technology that we have in the world today. So you're still breaking a rule. But this Michigan story has developed. It's got a lot of layers. Okay, first off, the reason Harbaugh was suspended is he lied to the NCAA investigators about a hamburger visit or whatever. It's not the hamburger or the visit. It's the fact that he lied to the NCAA. Now you get to this, and he's come out with the flat denial. This is going to be just like Rick Pitino at Louisville. If you didn't know about it, Coach, you're wrong. And if you do know about it, now you lied again. This thing is getting lots of layers, other teams. Now the former defensive lineman for Michigan says this is just a hit job on Michigan. Everybody's got an opinion. But the FBI, Michigan suspended one of their analysts who was involved, and there's a paper trail of him buying tickets at other stadiums and being on video in the others. They got proof he was in the stadium. Now the FBI, is in Michigan right now, in Ann Arbor, on the quarterback coach because something with his computer, there's a problem now. Now, the FBI is not in there because some guy was stealing signs, There's something more major if the FBI is in Ann Arbor.
You would think.
Okay.
You would think.
And now, and of course, this is all because somebody turned them in, just like Alabama used to always turn Auburn football in and vice versa. Auburn would turn it out. Mississippi State turned in, about Cam Newton when they paid him and didn't get him. I mean, that's commonplace. That happens all the time. But I've been reading a lot of this stuff, and this story is getting more and more layers, and there's a lot, where there's smoke, there's fire. Right now, there's a lot of smoke. What will happen ultimately, time will tell. But, man, it's just, Nick Saban and Ryan Day have both come out and said we need to do like the NFL, have the speaker in the headset where you go, hey, power I right, 36 wham, whatever you want to call, and give the defense guy. They got the money to do that. That's not the issue, especially the Power 5 conferences. So I don't know what this is going to lead to. But, again, you got nobody that runs the NCAA. They're a ship without a rudder. And then you got nobody in charge of football, which we see with NIL and transfer portal. Ronnie, this is a mess, and it's going to boil down to if Harbaugh lied. Harbaugh left Stanford because he was about to get busted for cheating out there. Went to the NFL, and then that kind of went under the rug. Now he's back at Michigan. Remember about 3 or 4 years ago, he went to practice down in Orlando at that IMG Academy, which wasn't breaking the rules, but it was pushing that envelope right to the edge of the table before it fell off. So, I mean, I don't know. You can kind of assume this guy, he might not be the straightest cat following the rules across the board and then commenting about it. He should have just said, I got no comment. There's an investigation going on. Because if he lied again, he ain't coaching college football no more.
What's weird to me, Tommy, is the priority list, right? We prioritize. I mean, that like the way this is being talked about in the national scope, where they're interviewing Nick Saban and they're interviewing all these coaches and former players and getting everybody's opinion, they're acting like something horrible happened. We're talking about sending an assistant to an away game 300 yards away in the stands, watching the sidelines and trying to figure out signals. Okay. First off, good luck if you can even. I was the worst at that. There were certain guys on the team that were really good. I'm not a good code breaker kind of guy, but every baseball team has like one or two guys that are really good at catching the other team's signals. I was not that guy.
Well, I had 2 upperclassmen taught me how to do it, and I've taught other people. I mean, we're not going to bore people with it right now, but one day somebody want to drink a beer with me, I can tell you how to crack baseball signals, and I'm pretty damn good at it. So, because I learned from some guys that were great at it.
And nowadays, who used to be really good at it was Rick Jones, the head coach at Tulane.
Yes.
They really emphasized it and spent a lot of time on it. But the thing is that nowadays with baseball, forget the fact that in the SEC they use the microphones in the in the headset, and the coach just on a walkie-talkie tells the catcher what the pitch is, and now they've got the little bracelets now. I mean, now the technology is crazy, but even before that, then they had those little sleeves, right? Like a lot of high schools now, because people don't have the technology for the watches or for the microphones or whatever. But they just have the little sleeves that have the codes on it, and you just change out the codes every once in a while, and you put a new one in the sleeves, and now the catcher and the pitcher and the position players, they don't even have to flash signals when they're on base. They can just look at their wrist when they give them a number, which is usually like second column, third row, and they just look down and it tells them what's up. Now you can't break codes in college baseball or pro baseball. They've got the technology to be. If you can do that in baseball, why can't they do it in football? But what I'm just interested in, which just blows my mind, Tommy, is that it's okay to give guys millions of dollars as amateurs to play base. We'll give you a car, we can offer you housing, we can pay things, but God forbid you send an assistant coach on the road to try to decipher signals. I mean, it's weird.
Well, Utah gave all 85 scholarship players a brand new pickup truck, which was worth $80,000 each. And they gave away 85 of them. Okay, that had the Utah logo, on it or whatever. You're right, but it is a rule, albeit 1994. But who's going to change the rule? There's no governing board. There's no NCAA has no leadership.
By the way, there's lots.
We got to adjust that rule.
There's lots of rules on the books. How many times have they actually implemented them over the years?
Well, that's the other problem. But see, this is clearly because somebody has turned Michigan in. It's kind of like the LHSAA. They got guys that go out and check resident things and academics. There's things that get checked. They have a staff of former coaches that do that for the LHSAA. But they're not really going to do something unless somebody would call up and go, I got proof that school ABC did this, this, and this. And here is the proof. Then they'll go investigate. Same principle with the NCAA. Somebody has got serious info on what Michigan is doing, and that's why the NCAA is involved. And then the part, if you're a Michigan person, is now the FBI is involved, and that's a little bit more. They're a little more powerful than the NCAA.
Well, to me, it's an easy fix. I don't think it doesn't happen this year, but I would expect next year you're going to see communication in the headphones and in the helmets, and probably some sort of rule where if the home team is using the technology, you have to provide it for the visiting team, type of thing. And if you don't want to do that, then you can't use it. But for the Power 5 schools, it's a no-brainer that the technology will be put into the helmets for next year. All right, let's move on to no LSU football. Sort of strange off week this week. What's the big game, I guess, that you're going to be paying attention to with no LSU football this week?
Oh man, that's a good question. There's a couple of decent SEC games, but there's nothing earth-shattering, no big-time top-ranked teams. Now, one that LSU fans should pay attention to would be Ole Miss. They're huge favorites against Vanderbilt. In all likelihood, they're going to win. But if LSU wants to be in Atlanta, somewhere along the line, they need Ole Miss to lose and obviously take care of their own business. Now, Ole Miss is
Won't be
24,
this
24.
week.
Yeah, they're 24 and a half point favorite against Vanderbilt. So you would think that ain't going to happen, okay? But, so you want to keep a quick eye on that one in case it's close in the second half. Then you pull in for Vandy to knock off Ole Miss. Other than that, I mean, you got Utah, Oregon. That's a big one out west. So you got some interesting games going on, no question about it. But it's I've seen this every year. When LSU has the open date, the attention to college football in Baton Rouge and Louisiana just kind of tends to drift a little bit. Of course, you got the World Series game one tonight, and the NBA's rolling, hockey's rolling. So I mean, there's lots of choices. This is a month where there's tons of choices every night.
As far as games that I'm interested in, obviously Oregon Utah is the premier game of the week. I'm interested in Tulane and Rice. Rice has got a winning record. They're a little better team than you think. We think of Rice as just this terrible team, but they're not bad this year. Tulane's having a dream season again. Their only loss was to Ole Miss, where they were winning at halftime at home. So can they keep it going? Tulane's been playing well, but they'll have a little challenge on the road at Rice, and so curious to see how they do there. The other one is Colorado. The Buffaloes didn't play last week. How will they bounce back? Remember, this is the first game since they blew the 29-0 lead to Stanford. How will they bounce? They've got to win two out of their next 5 games in order to be bowl eligible. And 4 of those 5 teams a couple weeks ago were all ranked. So it's not unlikely that it's going to happen, but they're on the road this week against UCLA.
They're big underdogs, 16, 17-point underdogs.
Right. So I'm curious to see how they'll do there. Tulane, Colorado, Oregon, and Utah, those are the 3 games that I'll be kind of tracking and interested in. Obviously betting some other games, but those are the ones that I kind of care about the most. The line on LSU, Alabama, were you surprised at where it was at, 5.5?
It's 4.5. It's been sitting at. It opened at 4.5, but it's been sitting there. And then next week could be some movement. I really thought we were all talking about this. A bunch of us were talking about. I really thought it'd be 6.5, or 7.
Right.
7.5 back in the summer when they do the big guest thing. I really thought it, but to have it at 4.5, they're basically saying on a neutral field, this is anybody's game. Now LSU got situations with the cornerbacks. The game's in Tuscaloosa, where LSU has played Bama better in Tuscaloosa over the years than they have in Baton Rouge. And Alabama has gotten better, like LSU has gotten better in the last couple of weeks. It's prime time, CBS, 6:45 p.m. kick in Tuscaloosa. The place will be packed. And I'm a little surprised it's 4.5. I think if it moves at all, it's going to move down.
Jayden Daniels getting a lot of love. I mean, they are talking about him in a big way. Obviously, Nick Saban was very complimentary on a national show, talking about how, they can't simulate and practice what he brings to the table relative to speed and change of direction and the throwing ability and the ability to read the defenses. That's a little bit of obviously a concern. Look, this game is going to probably, for either team, whoever comes out of this game with a win is thinking, okay, we're back in the playoff contention conversation. Because, if LSU finds themselves in a situation where they go 10-2 and they can run the table down the stretch, and your only loss was to Florida State, who's looking like they're the real deal, and Ole Miss, obviously you need Ole Miss, as you mentioned, you need Ole Miss to lose in there to have a situation where LSU can find themselves potentially in Atlanta. But you're going to end up in a great bowl game, maybe on the outside looking in at a playoff if you win this game, and it can propel you to the confidence and all the rest that you need. And the same for Alabama. I mean, everybody had written Alabama off. I mean, look, South Florida, they go down there and struggle to win against a South Florida team on the road. I mean, and all of a sudden, hey, give good credit. I mean, not that it's a shocker that Nick Saban got the thing turned around with all the great players he has, but both of these programs are poised to have a great run, whoever comes out of this thing with a W.
Well, championship teams are formed in November. Okay, they're developed in November, and Alabama's 5-0 in SEC play. So they're thinking, hey, we get past LSU, we get, then we're back in Atlanta, and all likelihood playing Georgia. So there's a lot to play for by both teams. There's dozens of NFL prospects on both sidelines. I mean, it's going to be a fun one, no question about it. It's going to be one of the top watched games of the year.
Before we go talking a little World Series, I want to let people know, if you're a golfer out there, if you're somebody that wants to have a great time, November 13th, 14th. November 13th and 14th, we've got a Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame golf tournament. It's going to be in L'Auberge, Lake Charles. Going to be in the Chuck. The 13th is a Monday, so from 6 to 9 p.m., we'll have a big pairings party at the Barstool Sportsbook inside L'Auberge, Lake Charles. We'll be watching Monday Night Football, by the way, McNeese is going to be playing at home in the same city that our event is, Lake Charles, their first basketball game of the year. And you know who won't be on the sidelines? Will Wade. He's going to be suspended for the first 10 games of the season, so he'll probably end up at our party. But, that's going to be going on November the 13th, Monday from 6 to 9. And then the next day at noon tea time will be the celebrity golf tournament. We're going to have folks like Jenny Finch, the all-time great softball player, Susan Jackson on the Mount Rushmore of LSU gymnastics. Kevin Gosman's going to be there, two-time All-Star, Major League pitcher. Andrew Stevenson's going to be in the house, Minnesota Twins player, Kevin Falk, you name it. So it's going to be a great event. Come on out. Go to lasportshall.com. You can get tickets to the party that Monday night, or you can do individual golf teams, 4-man teams, 3-man teams, you name it. Go to lasportshall.com. Check it out. World Series. The television folks and MLB cannot be happy about the Rangers versus Phoenix Suns. We know these are two giant cities, but on the national scale, the Arizona Diamondbacks do not move the meter. The Rangers, if you're going to have Houston or Texas, you'd rather Houston. I know for you, it's special you're being a Rangers fan, and for a true diehard baseball fan, it's a Cinderella story, 2 wildcard teams that backed their way into the playoffs. But this is not good for baseball from a standpoint of ratings and national attention and all that.
I agree. I mean, as you said, 2 wild card teams, and this is the lowest combined win total for the regular season. And the regular season wins for Texas and Arizona, the lowest ever in World Series history, to have both of them. We've had other teams, with 83, 84, the Cardinals, I think, did that and get to the World Series. But, for baseball purists, it's something. Here's the problem. Nobody knows Arizona. I mean, Ronnie, I'm watching their series against Philadelphia, and they're running guys out of the bullpen. I'm Googling the guy. Like, wait, did he play college? Did he go right from high school? I never heard of him. I didn't know if they were right or left-handed until they started throwing. Now, I know the Rangers because I follow them, and I think that's typical. And I follow baseball a little more than some people. I think that's typical across the country, Arizona, and I mean, most of their games are on real late. People on the East Coast might not even know they're nicknamed the Diamondbacks, because they call them the D-backs and the Snakes and all that. But the Rangers are heavy favorites, both in Game 1 and in the series. And both teams got the aces going tonight. Game 1 tonight, Game 2 tomorrow night, Sunday travel day. So I'll be paying attention, no question.
All right, tell us about Game 1 matchup and your takeaway. Who you think is going to win tonight?
Well, I think the Rangers will win. I got them on the run line, minus a run and a half. They got Nathan Eovaldi throwing. He's been brilliant in the postseason. Pitched in the World Series for the Red Sox 2 years ago, even though he didn't start a game in that series. Arizona's got their ace, their go-to guy, Zach Gallen. He's been their ace all year long. His numbers are damn good in comparison to other people. And the game's in Texas, So, they haven't been to the World Series since 2011 when recent Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame inductee Ryan Washington was the manager. They went back-to-back, 2010 and 11. Kind of let one get away from them against one of the teams. But no, so it's exciting for the Ranger fans. And, Rangers spent a lot of money, like the Padres, but the Padres, they're playing golf. Rangers spent a lot of money. Arizona's built from the farm system up for the most part, not every player. And I think you gotta lean on Texas for the value, even though it's minus $1.70 tonight, minus $1.76 to win the whole World Series. And of course, everybody's predicted 6 games, 7 games, whatever. But you play one game at a time in the World Series.
I was talking to Todd Walker a couple days ago, and we were talking when we weren't talking about pickleball, which is like his favorite topic to talk about. He's a pickleball freak, loves it and plays it. Has a good friend who's a pro. But when I was talking to him about baseball, and we just both were shaking our heads at the Philadelphia Phillies. They spend all this money. They're 2-0 on the series. They're 3-2 going home for game 6 and 7. Just got to win one, and they don't get it done. And he's just like, he goes, man, that's why you don't bet on baseball. He's like, it's so unpredictable. I mean, it's and the fact that the Diamondbacks went into Philadelphia and won games 6 and 7 in that environment, which was thought of as impossible, postseason environment, like going to the old box or something, Alex Box, and trying to win a game back in the day. It's that kind of environment. And they did, with a bunch of young guys, with a bunch of no-name pitchers. Got my respect. I'm quite frankly pulling for them because what they did was incredible. What they've done in the postseason, they lost 5 in a row, Tommy, going into the end of the season. They should have never been in the playoffs. About gift from God that the Cubs are such trash that they were able to get into the playoffs, and then they go and win on the road in Milwaukee, and they sweep the Dodgers, and what they've done is incredible. So forget what you think about this team. This is a new team the last 3 weeks, and that's the team that I've got to look at. And what they've done is amazing. Now the Rangers kind of the same way. So it's going to be, I think it's got potential to be a great, awesome series. But you got to Google all the names, but it's an awesome series.
Ronnie, I got to tell you this, I had one of those I'm old moments Wednesday. Me and a former LSU baseball player were talking to some younger folks, and he made the comment, the old Alec Box. Person said, there's an old Alec Box? I didn't know there was another. So I'm like, okay, I'm officially old. Yeah. Person I'm talking to doesn't know there was another stadium where they won 5 national championships.
15 years ago. 15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so no, I'll be all about the World Series, and I'll be checking it out. I think you got to go with Texas. That's the value. But anything can happen. I go back to what I said the other day on Sports Shorts Daily. Game 2 of the LSU-Florida series in Omaha, the final series, Florida won 24-4. That goes back to what you and Todd Walker were talking about. It's baseball. You just don't know. You just do not know.
But by the way, how is there not something to commemorate where the old Alex Box Stadium was? Like a plaque on the side of the road, something in the parking lot, something, right? I mean, it doesn't need to be elaborate. It just needs to be some sort of landmark.
Well, it's home plate. In Atlanta, where Fulton County Stadium was, there's a home plate in the parking lot where that is. You can walk up. You can walk up and read it and say, okay, this was the home plate at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. There should be something like it. Might be too late now, but there should be something. No, they're doing. I got a great line. I can't tell you on the air, but that LSU women's basketball practice says that. Or you want me to tell it on the air?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Kim Mulkey's coaching, okay? When she starts talking, you can hear a pin drop in the building. And they're doing a fast break, and she's telling one of the players on the wing, she said, when you're on the wing, you got to sprint. You got to get wide. And she points, everybody could hear this, and says, you got to be out wide right where it says Dale Brown Court, which should not be on
there. She said that.
Yeah, which she has publicly said she didn't agree with that whole thing. But she goes, you got to run right there where it says Dale Brown Court, which shouldn't even really be there. She said everybody heard it, okay? I mean, it was no secret. We had about 40 people from most places. Sacramento. We had all the girls basketball players, coaches, and parents. About 50 people. And everybody heard it. There was no what did she say? It was clear as a bell.
Right. Pretty good team, huh? You went and watched them practice?
Ooh, Haley Van Lith. That's all I'm going to say. Michaela Williams. You know, I mean, I saw her play last year when I worked the state basketball tournament for the girls up in Hammond at the University Center. And I said it then, she would have been the best player on the team last year. Now, she's the best shooter. I don't know all the other things, but Haley Van Lith, point guard extraordinaire, leader, you know, the whole bit. I mean, I watched 2.5-hour practice the other day. It's not like I walked in for 5 minutes and checked it out and left. I mean, we sat in the 2 rows from the floor the whole time. So, yeah, and they won a big 99-26 last night. They won an exhibition game against East Texas Baptist University, where, you know, who plays there?
Who's that?
Ruru plays. Ethan Brister plays there.
Oh, Ethan's over there.
He switched to, yeah. So anyway, so it was all good, but that's what Kim Muggs said. That shouldn't even be on the court, she said. All right, Ronnie, tomorrow we got radio. Let me get this up here. We'll be at the Most Blessed Sacrament Fair live from 10 to 12. They got Press One for English playing out there tonight, free to get in. Parish County Line tomorrow night, free to get in, 7 to 10 p.m. Most Blessed Sacrament Church is on Jefferson Highway, right next to Woodlawn High School. You look behind the church, you'll see the fair and the school, plenty of parking. So I'll be out there all 3 days, obviously. We want people to come check us out on the radio from the fair. We got a couple of special guests will be on, so we want you to do that.
All right. Well, looking forward to it. I'll be buying the all-you-can-ride wristband, you know.
And Ronnie, I got 2 things. Tremonti, see this pumpkin in my hand? Yep. I got a big pumpkin on the other side of the room. If you come in here and guess the weight of the pumpkin without going over, not this one, this is like 10 ounces, the big one over there, you can have a chance to win a free turkey for Thanksgiving. Okay?
Nice.
But the story for today and tomorrow, 20% off every wine bottle, vodka, bourbon, whiskey, tequila, scotch, rum, every liquor bottle in the building, 20% off. Doesn't matter if it's top end stuff or not, hot top shelf stuff or not. Big sale. It's today till 6 p.m., tomorrow till 5 p.m. And here's the thing, load up for your Christmas gifts, your office parties. You're having a bunch of people at the house on Thanksgiving. Get all the wine and liquor you need through the holidays. It can be gifts for the neighbors, gifts in the office. 20% off every single bottle at Tremonti's right here on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge.
All right, he's Tommy. I'm Ronnie. Tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Have a great day, everybody, and please like and share this video.